Season 4, episode 3 of From starts with Elgin sitting in the kitchen, and Fatima comes down, and he's sitting there with a bandage on his hand and his bandage on his eye that is missing. And she says to him, "How are you doing?" And then she also says, "We shouldn't be enemies. I don't want to hate you. This place used both of us." Jacosta's in jail. She's sitting there, and Boyd comes in and he asks her, or she asks him for a bullet, and that she'd go out in the woods and do it. They wouldn't have to clean it up. She's over it. She's done. He doesn't give it to her. Sophia wants to say goodbye one last time. And so, of course, when everyone else leaves, she gets this look on her face and then opens up the blanket and she tells him, the priest, she tells him, you were fun. And then she says, I couldn't leave, or I couldn't let you leave without me taking something. So she digs in his mouth and takes a tooth out. Boyd goes to see Jade, and Jade is just frustrated because he's trying to figure everything out. And he asks Boyd if he has any acid because remember, Victor's dad said that his wife, Miranda, saw that place, and it was after an acid trip when she started painting everything. So he figures if he could, if he can get his mind to go there, it might help. And Boyd is like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. If whatever is going on in this place is locked up in your brain, we don't need it scrambled. Jim's funeral, Jim and the priest, they have the funeral, and then the crows crash it. And it was really weird. And that was that. So afterwards, everyone goes to the diner to eat. And Tabitha's family's sitting by the window, and Kenny's sitting with Sophia, talking to her, and she's asking him questions about what's going on in the place, and she said something about if the crows has that happened before, and Kenny says no, people usually see the crows when they get here, when they see the tree. And she also said, has it always been this bad here? And he said no, and he starts talking about when Jade and Tabitha's family got there. And so she uses that as a moment to make it seem like Tabitha's family, all the bad stuff started happening when Tabitha's family came. Remember, she was saying that this is when she was the man in the yellow suit. But he was saying this is the part when they tear themselves apart. He likes his part. And then she also said it as Sophia. So she's stirring up trouble because Julie sat down with her to say, I'm sorry, what happened to your dad? And then Sophia mentioned that basically they were the problem. And Julie got up and yelled at her. And she told her mom and everyone, she's trying to say we're the problem. And she asked Kenny, she said, did you tell her all the bad stuff started happening when we got here? And so that's when she stormed out, and Tabitha stormed out with her. And here's Sophia enjoying all the chaos she's causing. Fatima, I don't know. Something about her storyline bores me. Like, I know she had a big, like, end of last season, because she gave birth to Smiley. But that was about the most interesting thing. Usually when they show her, I'm just not interested. They showed Ellis take her to, like, go beat up or tear up some cars to get out some stress. Yeah. And so anyway, he brought her back, and she told him she was going to go to sleep, but she seemed like she's being a little sneaky, so I didn't know what she was up to. And then they show Elgin walking with a bucket of something. But again, when I saw this scene, I did think Fatima was up to something, but I didn't think anything of it. And then they showed Elgin. I'm like, what the heck is he doing? And I just thought, I didn't think anything of what he was doing either, but we find out later they were up to something. And Ethan, when they were at the diner, Victor came in and he brought them a picture of their family, because he always says that he likes pictures, he draws pictures so he can remember. So he gave them that. And then Ethan asked if he could go to Colony House with Victor. And the mom, first she didn't want him to, but then she said yes. Ethan said he didn't want to be there. But then when he gets to Colony House, he asks Victor, he says he's going to go find the Lake of Tears. Or he asked Victor if there's water somewhere or whatever. And Victor was like, "No, I told your mom I would keep you safe." And so Ethan was like, "I'm going either way." And Victor was like, "Well, if I take you, you need to tell me why." And then Tabitha goes home. Everybody's on a side quest. Ethan's on a side quest, and so is Tabitha, because she takes a picture home, puts it in the drawer, and then she sees that picture of the lighthouse. And so I'm like, I know she is not about to leave again. Like, Jim and Tabitha always left the kids. And I mean, I know this time, okay, I get it, but for Jim. But Tabitha has no business trying to leave. But anyway, she's writing on the paper at this time, the lighthouse paper. And here's another side quest. So we got Julie coming out of the shed, and Randall's there, and he's like, "I figured you were up to something." So she says she wants to go back to her house and get this book, because I guess Ethan had these storybooks, and it has to do with time walking or whatever. So she wants to get those books out of the house that collapsed. They get to the lake, and Jade is just floating in the water, I guess trying to ease his mind, but he's so funny. Ethan is like, "Let's go, this isn't the place." And Victor's like, "We just got here." And he said, "This is not the place." And he said, "How do you know?" He's like, "I just know." Kenny's talking to Sophia about where she's gonna live, and she asked him where he was living. He said Colony House. It's plenty of room, and she says too many people. And then she asked where, not where, but if she could live at the clinic, and he said it's not enough room there. And so she said, "Well, what about Sarah?" And he was like, "Why would you want to live with Sarah?" And she was like, "She was kind to me." So I don't know what she's up to, but she wants to live with Sarah. Randall went into the collapsed house looking for the books. Boyd goes to Jocasta and said, "If you would, I need you to do something for me. And if you still want a bullet, we'll talk about it." But he had her go to the place where they keep all the aside from the diner, all the belongings of people, and he asked her to treat it like asked her to treat it like a crime scene. And she's like, "Why?" And he was like, "Well, you're a cop. Maybe we missed something." And she's like, "No, why do you want me to do this?" And he said, "You remind me of someone that I couldn't help," which I'm guessing his wife. And so that was that. So Tabitha leaves the note for Donna. Henry, that's Victor's dad. Henry told her that Donna was gone, or she went into town. He follows her outside, and he tells her, he's like, "What are you up to?" And she tried to lie. He said, "You're not a good liar." And she said, "I'm going to go back to the lighthouse." And he was like, "You shouldn't do that." And so he ended up going with her. Oh, this was when Ellis took Fatima to go beat up the cars. So uninteresting. Now, these three are interesting. So they end up walking, I think, because they asked Jade to help them. Victor kind of stops while they walk ahead, because he sees that yellow suit, and he is shook. I'm surprised that guy left that coat there too, or it was probably intentional knowing him. They're standing there looking at it, trying to figure out what it is, and then they look over at Victor, and he is just terrified. He was so terrified he wet himself. And Jade saw that, and Jade couldn't, like, he just looked at him like, "Victor," and then Victor ran off, but not before the crow made another appearance. Here's Kenny taking Sophia to go live with Sarah. I'd be like, "Don't be bringing nobody to my house and live with me if I don't, before you ask me." But Sarah looks happy. We'll see what happens there. I can't wait to see how that plays out for real. Randall finds Ethan's books. So Fatima says she's going to take a nap, and then she goes up to Elgin's room, and he's got a pile of dirt, and she's saying that's good, but we'll probably need more. So again, I don't know what they're up to, but I'm a little interested now. Tabitha gets to the bottle tree. Henry tries to stop her from going in. I can't be the only one that thought he was going to fall in here. I was like, that'd be corny, but I thought that's what they were going to do. The boy in the white clothes, he shows up, and Tabitha, he tells she asks if she can get back to the lighthouse, and he said he doesn't think so. So maybe she won't go now. But when she started asking the questions, he said, "You're not asking the right questions." And so that's when she said, when she asked if she went through the tree, would she be able to get back to the lighthouse? And then she asked, "Why won't you help us?" And he said, "I tried."